The following video is not affiliated with any support groups, religions, treatment centers, or institutions. This is an editorial and is not medical advice. Enjoy. All right, addiction recovery. The topic is diagnosing addiction. I'm giving myself 1 minute. Start the timer now. Now, first of all, I want to say I'm a pastor. I'm not qualified to diagnose addiction. I can be a support in the treatment of addiction, I believe, but I cannot diagnose addiction. So the big part of this is if someone comes to me and they're in that very early stage where they have had no treatment from a counselor, from a doctor, from a psychiatrist, it is my professional duty then to refer them to the right people. I can't be someone that is prescribing things, either spiritual or even physical for an individual to get well. And I can't also be a person, I believe, as a spiritual care provider saying, here's the cure. This is the cure for you. I believe that addiction is treatable, but not curable. It's something that will need to continue to be treated. And that's my time. Okay, now it's time for me to grade and evaluate what I just said. Now, first of all, I want to say that was a pretty strong answer. There was a lot of good stuff in there, and I will start by saying, how do you diagnose addiction? I don't think I went into that, and it is a diagnosable disorder. Addiction disorder is in the DSM, the big manual that all counselors and psychologists, psychiatrists, etc. they use, which just lists disorders. And so it could be diagnosed by professionals. It could be pointed out by other folks as well. A support group could point this out to you that you have symptoms of addiction, and then you could do some further inquiry as to what the medical side is at with professionals, because you could speak, like I said, with a psychiatrist. Psychiatrists are quite helpful with this if you speak to them. You could speak with a one-on-one counselor that has various credentials. They could be like a psychologist, they could be a social worker, and they could point you in the right direction with the diagnosis specifically. It could be pointed out by an interventionist. And an interventionist could get you into intensive outpatient, or could get you into residential treatment. And in residential treatment, the whole group of professionals in there could point it out to you, and ultimately a doctor could point it out to you as well. So those are the folks that have got to be involved in diagnosing addiction. And I didn't list a spiritual care provider purposely. They can refer, but I don't believe that I'm someone qualified to diagnose. So I would say you need to be aware of a few things when you're thinking about diagnoses of addiction and also spiritual care providers, when you're thinking about those two things in the same breath. Beware of cures, like I said. Beware of a spiritual care provider saying this is an elixir that will cure you, or this is one particular thing. And I know that might be controversial for some, because there are some people that believe some substances can cure addiction. Well, I think that you need to go through a doctor if you're ever going to be taking anything, and not just getting that from one individual. So I think that a cure-all, a one-time fix, I think paying for a one-time spiritual treatment to cure you of addiction, I would say beware of that. I can't say either way if that's good or bad, but beware. Red flag there, because I believe it's treatable and not curable. And beware of solutions that involve some irreversible harm. So maybe some irreversible financial harm, think about that. And I know treatment centers are expensive in some cases, private treatment centers. All right. Okay. Yes. But there are some treatments that are not like treatment centers, where they're saying we're going to bill you and some of it might be covered under insurance, or you might be taking out a loan even to go to treatment. So sure, there's that. But there's irreversible financial harm for some individuals where it's like, give all of your money in the world and all of the money coming in ever. So your whole savings and all the money that you make, give it to me and I'll cure you of addiction. Joining up to some quote unquote cult might be harmful for you. And I think I'll just cover briefly what I do to treat someone in addiction once they are diagnosed. And so what I do is I talk about the past. I talk about what's happening in the present. And I talk about the spiritual pain from the past and the spiritual pain from the moment in time that they are in right now. And I think that is important because that's a very specific thing that a spiritual care provider treats. Spiritual pain. And in that, I'm not touting a cure. I'm not touting that there is going to be some flash of light and suddenly your life will be made way better than it was ever before. No. I think that it's a slow process that I'm touting. Spiritual care with a recovering addict is something that'll just be slow, steady, and certainly has the possibility of being healing. But I do not claim that it is something that it is not. That is the most important part. It's not a cure. It's not something that you've got to pay gobs and gobs and money for a spiritual care practitioner to treat that diagnosis of addiction. So those are key things that I want you to know when it comes to diagnosing addiction and spiritual care. So it's time for me to grade myself. I would have to say that this is one of my better answers. So I'm going to give myself a wonderful trip to the amusement park and a wonderful, all expenses paid, all the rides. And you probably get a food voucher with that as well. Isn't that great? And I'm going to give myself a big participation ribbon as well. Throw that in there because this was one of the stronger answers that I've had on this channel. And so I would have to say, good for you, Seth. And I guess we can end the video there because we're at the end. So thank you so much for tuning in. I want to let you know that more videos will be coming soon. You can comment below, ask me questions in the comments, and I might answer them in an upcoming video. Other than that, have a wonderful week, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you again soon in the next video. There's plenty more videos for you to watch linked right here.